Oh, are we live?
As we are. Well, hello there, good sir. How's it going?
You know the thing that came to mind when you said, is she okay? Is she all right? You know the Vader thing. That's what came to mind at first. But
Indeed.
okay, so, how's it going,
Well, how's it
guys?
going for you, man? I haven't seen you all day.
Busy day. Been on the bike for about 3 hours now, and it's almost 1 a.m. here in Serbia, and we just feel like talking about the new stuff that's going on. So yeah, what are your thoughts on it? On the episode 5 thingy?
On the episode 5. Well, to tell you the truth, I do love the flashback. And to be honest, I think that's the best lightsaber duel I've seen in all of Disney Star Wars when it comes to like choreography and stuff like that.
Oh,
I'm
definitely.
not gonna, I'm not gonna count Rogue One into a duel because it's not a duel. He was just slaying those poor people. So, yeah,
Yeah, technically, I wouldn't even consider the Luke Skywalker Mandalorian battle with the Dark Troopers a duel. But yeah, I completely agree. The this one was probably the best choreographed and best looking lightsaber duel since Disney bought Star Wars regarding live action, right?
indeed. Because when
That-
you look at the Mandalorian, I think that was more of a slaughter than a duel. So
yeah, and Rogue One.
that was
You
even
know,
worse. Yeah.
you know what comes to mind? I've noticed that I take Vader very lightly for some reason in the Kenobi series. I mean, most
Do
of you
you
guys know that I'm
do
not
you,
really liking where it's
do you,
going.
do you think that's because they watered them down with all the stuff they've been putting out for Vader?
Um, I don't know, but the thing is, comparing a Rogue One and this, for some reason, it was, I wouldn't say bone chilling, but it was extremely hard hitting seeing Vader in Rogue One. Well, over here, I just take him for granted. That's the way it feels to me. And I just, once I start taking something for granted, as I take Star Wars in general for granted because there's too much of it, it's not that special to me anymore at all. That's the way it feels, at least. And remembering how it felt watching Rogue One, aka in my opinion at least, the best live action thing regarding Star Wars that Disney did so far. And I think it's going to stay that way for a while. I hope not, but I love Rogue One, honestly. That last scene with Vader killing the rebels was some of the best live action stuff that they did regarding a lightsaber.
Yeah,
To this day, I'd say.
that was definitely on point, man. That was definitely on point. I loved it. I loved every second of it. I remember when we were in the
Oh,
cinema. I know the entire cinema just went quiet. And
yeah.
like when the scene ended, everyone just started cheering because it was fucking awesome.
Yeah, the thing is, after the disappointment of The Force Awakens,
That was
do
that
you
was
guys want to know how
definitely a breath
disappointing
of
The Force
fresh air.
Awakens was? Like, we went to the cinema with a lightsaber, my Anakin Skywalker Episode 4 lightsaber, and I turned on the lightsaber once the Star Wars logo started, and it was like the biggest crap ever. Some guy said, "Turn off that light."
That light, yeah, in a Star
That
Wars
light.
movie. What the
Star
hell,
Wars
man?
movie. I turned on the lightsaber, and he's like, "Turn off that light."
Yo,
Fuck.
Mickey, thanks for the $10, man. So he says, I've been a big fan of the channel, and I've learned so much about the Old Republic from watching your videos. I would love a Darth Barris the Wide video. Oh, that is good.
You know, I might as well write it very soon once we finish these
Well, to tell
existing
you the
projects that
truth,
we're
the
doing.
Darth Barris really has an interesting story, and he's quite of a character.
Oh
And
yeah,
and I
and you
remember, I
killing
remember, I
him.
was so glad killing him when I was playing my dark side. What's it called? I was playing a Zabrak, right? Yeah, I was doing like a Darth Maul style Zabrak in Star Wars:
Yeah,
The Old Republic. What were you doing? I think you were a
I was a ratataki, if that's what you call it,
uh-huh.
because I want. No.
I
Darth
think you
Barris
were
was
a
when you,
pure
no, I
blooded
was
Sith.
actually Sith.
Yeah,
the Sith species. Regarding the Sith warrior, I was a Sith species, and yeah, of course, that was my guy. But regarding the Sith, the Sith Inquisitor, I was a Ratataki because I didn't want to do the standard thing of using a Zabrak, having a double lightsaber.
I know.
It's kind of generic.
And
So
to be honest, being a human is not really, doesn't go well for the Sith, I guess.
Yeah.
I kind of like to spice things up a bit. But to tell you the truth, one thing I've noticed about Star Wars The Old Republic is, like, when you're trying to do a full dark side playthrough, like, it's so hard, in some decisions. It's way more easier doing the light side, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, the thing is, it feels wrong even though it's fiction.
I know.
It feels wrong, and we're humans in general are for some reason pulled to the light always, and knowing something that is wrong, even if it's fiction, you can't really go along with it even there. So it's fascinating. Okay, just before we go on, thank you very much, mate, for the super chat, and I just want to tell you guys that we're very thankful for the super chats and the support on the channel. We really need it because we've been struggling for about 2 years now with the channel. But if you actually want to help us out, don't super chat it, because the US government takes 30% of everything people on YouTube earn a month. So 30% of everything we earn every month is taken away from us as a tax for nothing, literally. So if you actually guys want to help us out, don't give us a super chat, even though we really appreciate it. Check out our Patreon channel, because if you're giving money away, at least you can get something back from it. We post a lot of stuff on Patreon, a lot of exclusive scenes that we're creating for our lore videos and future fan films. So I just wanted to let you guys know not to throw money away, because we're not even going to get like all of it there. And on Patreon, we pay you back for what you do. For helping us out, you get something from it. So just wanted to guys let you know that everything is linked in the description regarding the super chat. So you're basically throwing the money away. So yeah, it's going to the government.
Well, some of it.
But yeah, let's go through some of the comments before we go on ranting about the Kenobi series. I'm guessing all of you are very curious why we put the
Kenobi
stream that way, but there's been a lot of stuff going on. So. Okay, let's see. What do we have here? Oh, thank you very much, mate, for that. Oh, hello, I'm racist because I don't like Reva, even though I like Mace Windu. Yeah, we're very well aware of it. And I think that the biggest problem on Disney's part there is they're generalizing the entire fandom of being racist. And one thing I don't like about the current year in general is words are ceasing to have any meaning once they throw it around so much. So technically, telling someone that they're racist like 20 years ago was kind of a big deal because it actually meant something. But today they throw it as if it's nothing, because after all, we're all racist for nothing. And it ceases to have any meaning. It's kind of a problem regarding the language and all. But yeah, like, we don't like Reva as well, but they never called us racist for Lando or Mace Windu or Seer from Jedi Fallen Order, as you mentioned, or any of those characters in general. So I don't get the premise of it. But I guess that's all they got. They don't actually have real arguments and criticisms for breaking the lore or disrespecting the characters, the story, and everything. And when it comes to Disney, what they did in advance, they called the Star Wars fandom racist even before the show aired, as if they're kind of prepared for it to tank, and creating a escape route for them to simply dismiss all criticism and simply say, fuck them, they're all racist, we don't listen to racists, which is a load of crap. It's not true. I'm guessing there might be some, but I Like not even
I mean,
1%. I'm
I've
guessing.
never met one, to be honest.
I've never met one either. And one thing we've noticed over the years here on YouTube, and especially because with the Star Wars fandom, is usually those people that talk about race all the time are somewhat racist, even though they don't realize it. Specifically because if you don't talk about it, it doesn't exist, doesn't matter. So yeah, like I don't get why they do that, but instead of
And
taking
plus,
criticisms,
one more thing I was talking about with you a couple days ago
yep,
was about the actors in general. Like, we don't have a problem with actors themselves. It's the characters, it's the shitty writing that the directors do. That's what I have a problem with, not the actors themselves. Like, the actor does an amazing job. He does what he's told, which is, so the actor is not to blame there. Just, the lazy writing, I guess.
but one thing I've noticed with the actors for some reason, since it's the current year, everyone has become very soft and snowflakey, if I might add. And specifically, I'm thinking about what's her name, the actress playing Ahsoka, for
Ahsoka.
example.
Yeah, Rosario Dawson.
Yes, yes. Specifically because they didn't give her the longer Leku, even though it's lore accurate, and shorten it for her because it's easier. And I'm like, your job is to be an actor. Their job is to make it as accurate as possible, to make it the best it can be. And they're actually listening to the actress because it's very hard to act with the Leku. Okay, then do a CGI Leku or something. If you care so much about continuity, which Disney, let's be fair, they don't care about continuity at all. Ever. Obi-Wan Kenobi proves that completely. Sequels prove that. Plenty more examples prove that they don't care about the continuity, even though they brag that their canon is going to be the best thing ever and how the EU is bad. Then they copy the EU and degrade all the stories from the good old days into it. So yeah, I don't get why they listen to an actress instead of just making it the best it can be. It's just one example.
I think the best example of it would be what they did with Emperor Palpatine in the sequels, how they shat upon, Emperor Reborn
Oh
from
yeah,
the
Dark
expanded
Empire.
universe. Yeah, exactly. And then
Yeah,
they
it's a very good example of them talking shit about the EU and how they had the Emperor return, and then do a 10 times poorer version of that. It's beyond me. You know what's
You
the
know,
worst part about it?
at
I
least in the comic book, you kind of had an explanation of how it all happened, but here is just somehow Palpatine
Somehow he
returned.
returned. Somehow the Inquisitor returned.
Yeah. Somehow
Oh,
Reva survived the lightsaber wound to the stomach as
you know
well.
the thing is also what I don't like about Disney Star Wars. Robot Head is completely right about the lightsabers. Disney has no idea how to treat lightsabers because apparently lightsabers don't cut off limbs anymore. They don't cut anything literally. They just slash the enemy. And even further now, they don't even kill the enemy once you stab them. Like everyone survives except for Qui-Gon, of course. He couldn't. Obi-Wan couldn't force heal Qui-Gon, but Rey can force heal Kylo. Is this like the third character that didn't die from a stab wound so far in live action Disney Star Wars, right?
Yeah, I mean, we got the Grand Inquisitor, we've got Reva, and actually, now that I think of it, Reva was
Kylo Ren.
stabbed. No. Reva was stabbed 2 times with a lightsaber. One
Wait, you
time when
think?
she was, a youngling, and then the other one when, right now in the episode. I'm pretty sure they show it in the episode, if nothing.
Yeah, that's what it did look like. But so she was actually stabbed.
I think she got stabbed twice by
That's what
Anakin.
it looked like when I remember the scene with Anakin
Yeah.
looking at her. But anyway, let's before we go on ranting more about the horror show of continuity errors, the Kenobi series and everything, let's appreciate for a fact the only scene that I actually consider as canon from this series with Anakin and Obi-Wan before Attack of the Clones. It was something else, honestly. I mean, it's not too special when you look at it, but it's just precious seeing Ewan and Hayden together on the screen. Because so far, regarding the series, I wasn't a fan of it, but the interviews with the two of them are absolutely fabulous and beautiful. I love that. What are your thoughts on that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just I love seeing Hayden again, and what he said about like being Vader and just getting back into it all.
What I like about him is he's still in form,
Yeah,
and you know that they didn't use stunt doubles for that. You know it. Like that's like high praise for Disney Star Wars in general, because I'm guessing most of it is lazy in general, but not the two of them, because we know from the prequels they did all the choreographies with themselves. And what was great about this one, you actually see how reminiscent of Revenge of the Sith it was, and it was fabulous, honestly.
yeah, because the thing is, like when you look at the lightsaber moves, excuse me, the lightsaber moves that they pull off, a lot of them remind me of what they did in Episode 3. It's like they're literally practicing for that duel,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's like the poor man's version of Revenge of the Sith, right there in that duel. But I loved every second of that, man. I loved it.
It's like you can go to the cinema, watch Revenge of the Sith, and Mom says we have Revenge of the Sith at home. Literally, it's Revenge of the Sith at home. But yeah, I absolutely love that. Honestly, it was great. And what I didn't understand, we posted. I edited the scenes all together to make them one scene as best as I could, even though the music cuts off very directly. I kind of made it work as much as I could. The video is really blowing up, thankfully. At least something we do is blowing up ever, because like we couldn't get 10K views on a single video for 2 years, even though by my opinion we have never worked harder than the past 2 years and been more innovative with the content. But it's blowing up, and we mentioned our thoughts on the Kenobi series in general in it. And the comments, first of all, just mentioning headcanon, I'm very glad that after 6 years of being on YouTube and doing headcanon stuff and mixing the lore that we consider to be good with the EU, not all of it, but the Clone Wars, Jedi Fallen Order, Rogue One, Rebels, etc. A lot of people have adopted the headcanon mentality, and I just love that, because when we started the channel, a lot of people were angry. How dare you consider something canon or not, or whatever. Not that I give a shit what they think, but to each his own. And a lot of people have adopted that. I'm very glad for it, because to me, you know what that says? I don't give a shit what the corporate suits say is canon or not, or anyone else. I do my own thing. It's a fictional universe, and you can like it any way you want, because it's fiction. It doesn't matter that much in real life. It's made to be enjoyed, So I'm very glad a lot of people have their own headcanons. We were pushing for that when we started the channel. The point is basically free will. Like it any way you want. And I don't care if you like the sequels and like the stuff that I don't like. It doesn't matter to me at all. To us, it doesn't matter. The point is, do it in your own way. Enjoy it. It's fiction. It doesn't matter that much in real life. It's meant to be enjoyed. Yet the thing is, a lot of people were pissed that we even have the concept of headcanon. How dare we? How dare we not listen to the corporate suits and to the consumerists and everything? Unbelievable.
I remember that all too well, man.
Like,
you know what they say in Counter-Strike? There's a line when you're starting off as CT, and they say, "This isn't the killing house anymore. This is real life." Well, that's that's that.
Yeah. So yeah, there was that, and people are also pissed that how dare we not like Obi-Wan Kenobi, yet we like a scene. So apparently we're toxic fans because we don't like the series, and just because we don't like the series, we're also not allowed to like a scene. I thought that the point was to try and get something positive out of everything if you can. Apparently not. Apparently you're a toxic fan and you're not allowed to like something from a show you generally dislike for very good reasons, but they just dismiss the reasons, say you're toxic or ismphobe, the typical crap that they always throw. But yeah, that's what we're dealing with today, at least.
Well, it's just one of those days.
Yeah. Also, I just want to announce, guys, that we have a voice actor for our Kenobi series. It's not a series, our Kenobi fan film. And most of you probably know it's the duel with the shard head, based on the Legacy issue 16 comic, Claws of the Dragon, with the flash. It's actually seen as a flashback of Darth Krayt when he was a warlord in Tatooine. And the whole episode, fan film, call it what you will, is completely filmed and everything. It's put together. You can go onto our community section, or if you're a patron, you can view a lot of things we posted regarding that. And as we said earlier, for all of you who are new, please don't give us, if you were intending to, please don't give us super chats here. YouTube takes US takes 30% of everything we earn on YouTube, so you're basically throwing money away to the government. Instead, patrons the way. At the same time, you get something back to you. Anyway, over there we have a lot of scenes from our upcoming fan film. We got the voice actor. He does an amazing job on pulling off a mix of Ewan McGregor's and James Arnold Taylor's voice acting. And who knows, we might be using for other stuff because he also has a very good Maul one. And for those who know, for all of you who don't know, the name of the guy is Concordia Jedi. You can check out his channel. Some of you might know him, but he really does an awesome job. And we're probably going to have him on the stream. He already recorded the lines from the comic. It's going to be 100% accurate because that's what we're aiming for. And we're very excited to work on it. Only problem is we've been dealing with a lot of copyright in the past few days. So it's probably going to not be monetized at the end of the day because we want to use some awesome music for it, make it the best it can be. But yeah, it's probably 2 months. There's probably 2 months of work on it, but sadly, we're not going to earn a penny from it. So we're probably going to make a crowdfunding project or something like that simply to stay afloat on the channel because we're technically making content for free, for nothing. So if you want to help us out, check out our Patreon. That would be great, honestly. We need your help, especially Todd.
Todd, don't even get me started.
Literal. Do you want to share what happened?
Nah, man. It's been a shitty year so far, and I kind of have a feeling it's only going to get worse.
Yeah, like tomorrow I'm going to his place. I need to help him out regarding some stuff, kind of private but very serious. So yeah, we need help regarding Patreon for all the projects. But yeah, anyway, let's go through some of the comments before we continue with the stream. Just gonna.
Do you want to go ahead and the Naboo Starfighters?
Yeah,
but don't forget to stay in the cockpit.
I recently got a second-hand General Grievous fighter for like $15. It's second-hand, and it's the OG General Grievous. I think it was the only one of its kind, as you can see it. The one from the Complete Saga game, if you remember. But yeah, I got a lot of Lego here. I don't know if you guys are into it that much.
Do you have one of those blue TIE fighters from the original game?
Yes, I recently got the TIE Interceptor from 2006, I think it was. It's the only TIE Interceptor set from the official one, except for the red one that they released for Star Wars Rebels. And yeah, I recorded it, and it's going to be getting a review eventually. Next one up is this. Going to have to record this guy as well. This is actually a mock.
It's not a set. Slave 1.
But it's the OG Slave 1. But the thing with it is it's a mock, actually. I never bought the set. I never had the chance to buy the set. So I ordered the pieces and recreated the set, basically. Almost completely the same as the original. And while I was at it, I decided to make it another one with it, a Jango Fett Slave 1 in the style of the OG Slave 1. And of course, since I was making that, I needed to make my own modern version of the Slave 1 as well. So
Because why would you only have one if you can have three, right?
Now I have 4 slaves.
Yeah, you've got the UCS one as well, right?
Yeah, UCS Slave 1 is the best. And now I made 3 more slaves for my 4 slave collection.
Fucking slaves, get your ass back here.
It sounds wrong, but I love the Slave 1s. They're awesome. Yeah. And yeah, no bullshit with
Boba Fett Starship TM.
Nah, fuck that. Fuck that. We're not doing that here. So yeah.
You are fulfilling your destiny, young Skywalker.
Let's see what people have to say. What else was I going to share? I forgot about it. Oh yeah, how do you guys like the Old Republic? I made something very special regarding the Old Republic. Do you guys know what this is? The Battle of Alderaan. Ring a bell, maybe?
From one of the best trailers out there.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. It's like a stand for the Battle of Alderaan with, the Old Republic troopers and.
So is that supposed to be like where they started off the battle in the trailer? Like when they're gearing up on the mountain and then they jump into the.
Technically, it can be considered that since it's like a hill, rocks, snow, and everything. So yeah. Yeah, I've been working on tons of stuff, and also got my hands on some OG Lego sets as well. Some old Obi-Wan Kenobi with the droidecas as well. I think the set is called the Jedi Duel or something like that. Got the old Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's all here on my table. Old Qui-Gon as well. So yeah, I've been really... it's been a nostalgia trip regarding the sets. So yeah. Lego Arkan. Yeah, that would be awesome, honestly. So yeah. Always wanted to get an Ebon Hawk. Anyway, should we continue with... I got too much into my personal, stuff here. We might as well continue with the Kenobi stuff, if you guys are up for it.
Kenobi?
Any thoughts in the comments?
Disappoint me.
Yeah, I agree. If you guys want a good Kenobi story, read the Kenobi novel. It does an amazing job regarding his time on Tatooine, definitely. We actually do cosplays. We did them a few years back. Todd has a Darth Nihilus.
I do indeed.
And I have a Jedi Temple Guard.
Yeah, Luke's a Jedi Temple Guard, but you don't have a double-bladed lightsaber, buddy. I
don't need it. Honestly, I have a...
now that I think of it, I don't even have a lightsaber.
Yeah, he's very poor. For like 6 years on YouTube, you couldn't get a lightsaber.
It is what it is.
Yeah, and they're quite rare here, so that was also a big problem back then.
Yeah, the thing is, like, nobody wants to ship here, so, you can't even get one.
Yep. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the set is generally the Obi-Wan Kenobi Lego set is very problematic, specifically because it's overpriced. Usually, they measure the price of the Lego set price to piece count. So it's basically like 100 pieces for $10, and this one is like over 50. It was actually 50 pounds.
I think it's about $50. But
no, I think they said it was 50 pounds. That's much
worse. Yeah, that's even worse.
That's like even worse than euros. So it's like 50 pounds for 400 pieces with Darth Vader that we already got in like 10 other sets. A Kenobi from a Kenobi series, which is like a discount Kenobi story, in my book at least. For a duel, recreating a duel which was pathetic It was like it was pathetic at best. Honestly, I really disliked it as a whole. Didn't make sense as well. And technically, the only new character you get would be the droid thing, whatever it's called. I don't care. So yeah, it's bloody expensive. It's a shitty set. It looks like a mock
But
mostly.
the thing is, can you even call the droid a minifigure?
Yeah, it can. It is clearly a minifigure. It looks like a good minifigure, but the thing is way overpriced for a set that doesn't look like a set, for a fight scene that is barely a fight scene, for a series which is
It's
a
more of a
massive
torture scene
continuity
than a
error.
fight scene.
Huh?
It's more of a torture scene than a fight scene, to be honest.
It was a torture scene for me watching it. Nah, seriously, it was torture to watch that. The rematch of the century. Nah. The thing is, do you actually think it's going to be a rematch of the century next episode? I very much doubt that.
Yeah, I doubt that.
Like,
but then again, we'll see. Can't really judge.
You know what
right?
fascinates me? Boba Fett was mostly a sure thing when you look at it, and it was crap at the end of the day. It was very underwhelming. He even got thrown out of two of his own episodes by the Mandalorian. And then you have Kenobi.
Yeah, that was kind of sad.
Kenobi, in my opinion, ever since the sequels came out, is the thing that made the biggest continuity error in the timeline based in the original George Lucas Star Wars era, episodes 1 to 6. The series, in my opinion, makes the biggest hole in it regarding continuity in a lot of different aspects.
And now that you mentioned it, I think Reva overshadowed Kenobi in like screen time and everything.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you feel like that?
I do, but that's not even my biggest problem with the series. My biggest problem, I even said that like 4 months ago. If there's going to be a rematch with Vader and Kenobi, I'm done. That's a deal breaker for me. And they had a rematch, and apparently they're going to have another one. And it just cheapens Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope even more, in my opinion. Because apparently they can find each other whenever, not once, but twice. It cheapens the story quite a bit. It makes a continuity error regarding him meeting. Like, Vader was but the learner, but Kenobi is the master, which means that Kenobi should kick his ass next episode, which I highly doubt.
Which actually meant that he should have kicked his ass in the first time they met.
Yes,
if he's still considered the master, then right?
The thing is, I've seen a lot of theories on how they might pull it off, kind of make it plausible, but they obviously didn't do that. And even if they did it, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't feel right, you know. And one of the bigger continuity errors now, they actually made an incredibly stupid decision with the newest episode. The fact that Bail Organa calls Obi-Wan Kenobi he sends him a message, even though he might think that Kenobi was captured by the Empire. And in the holo message, he reveals Tatooine, Luke, Lars Homestead, when he says it all.
Yeah.
Even though he thinks it's the Empire.
It's very unlike Bail Organa to say something like that, to be honest.
It's incredibly stupid. That might be the most stupid thing about it.
The thing is, it's literally just there for the story, I guess. You know, so Revan can find out, right?
The thing is, the series still doesn't give me a reason to exist. I don't see why this story had to be told. Doesn't bring anything new. And a lot of, I mean, I'm fine with people enjoying it. I really don't have a problem. If you can enjoy it, turn off your brain and simply hit it, that's awesome for me. It's none of my business, you know. And to be honest, when watching all that stuff for the first time, it's entertaining when you're just watching it, drinking your stuff, and it's entertaining when you watch it for the first time. But once I start thinking about everything that happened and how much it doesn't go together, I'm gonna criticize it, of course, And Bail Organa would never do that. What he did, he basically blew the entire cover not knowing if Kenobi was in the hands of the Empire already.
Or in that matter, alive.
Or, yeah. And, I'd rather, as I said in the comments, I would rather get only the. Let's say it was a short film by Disney with Hayden and Ewan simply making that training scene, when they're fighting. I would rather get that 3-minute scene as one short film because at least it has some meaning and an emotion instead of this whole series. Because I can't just consume stuff. I'm not for consuming Star Wars and more and more and more. I want something meaningful in it and with a purpose and everything. And that's not what it gave, So either I'm toxic or I actually want something of higher quality and meaning, and depth and everything. Kenobi doesn't have that. It didn't blow me away in any way at all. Even that scene with Hayden and Ewan is not mind-blowing. It's simply precious because after 17 years, you're seeing them together, That's just me. What do you think, mate? I've been shitting too much anyway.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, they always have to label you toxic or something simply because you either like something or don't. No big deal. Like, you can like whatever you want. You can dislike whatever you want.
I think this series is really missing a good hello there from Obi-Wan.
Oh, yeah, they missed the opportunity with that as well, sadly.
Indeed.
He just said, hello.
Yeah, that's not good enough. He's got to go, hello there.
I actually thought that the series, even if it were bad, and it is, but it would have a lot of memeable moments because of Ewan. And I'm guessing all the memeable moments are going to be from this duel, probably, Pocket Sand. Yeah, that's a good one. Fabulous meme, honestly. You know what's one of the best ones? When in the Vader corridor scene in Rogue One, when the guy's knocking, help us! There's the meme like, bring us sand! We need sand. That's a great one as well. But yeah, the memes are kind of lacking. I mean, it's like a bantha. That was a very good meme, I'm guessing. And the Grievous kitchen droid, that was also a very good meme from Boba. Hard to believe I like the Book of Boba Fett more than this. Really hard to believe, but I do. Fuck.
Well, that's because he was filming it for 7 months.
Don't you guys think that the Polynesian spa memes are so underrated? And sadly, they have already died out. And I'm still planning on making some because I just enjoy it so much. But yeah, on out filming the Book of Boba. Fight scenes, makeup. You do the voice much better.
I do indeed.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I get the Pirates of the Caribbean reference. Have you guys seen my Pirates of the Caribbean piano video for Johnny Depp? Yeah, I actually promised that in the community tab that I would do it if Johnny won. It was expected for him to win, to be honest, in a way, because he's got all the evidence. And yeah, it was a one-off thing. I actually practiced for that video for like 3 days because I haven't played the piano for like 6 months. But yeah, I'm back with that as well. Might as well do some Star Wars themes. I used to play quite a bit of Star Wars themes on the piano as well. So I might do a video on that. Who knows? Todd knows quite a bit on the guitar and the harmonica as well. Something just came to mind regarding the harmonica.
Don't even mention it. I know what came to
mind. Enough.
Shut up.
Yeah, don't want to get banned from YouTube for that, but yeah. Okay. Anyway, lightsabers. Disney doesn't know how lightsabers work.
Now that you mentioned lightsabers, did you stop the scene in the last episode that we watched? Did you stop the scene where when all the lightsabers are together in that box to see like if you recognize a few?
the thing is, at first glance, I'm like, someone's going to use that as a thumbnail. You know, when they zoom it up, you know,
I know.
and put a red arrow on it. I'm like, someone's definitely going to use that as a thumbnail. They did, of course. And first, I was like going to pause it, and I'm like, yeah, I don't care. That was the problem. I was going to pause it, and then I realized I don't care. Too bad. If it was Clone Wars or Bad Batch or Rebels, I would have paused definitely. But I just don't care here, sadly.
You know, as Gordon Ramsay would say.
You know, they in the comments, they usually tell you, just enjoy it. Just turn off your brain and enjoy it. And I can do it while I'm viewing it for the first time, just blind entertainment. But as soon as I start thinking, I'm not liking it. Doesn't make sense. There's a hole here or there. That's a problem when you're very deep into the lore, like me and Todd are. It's hard to enjoy stuff when you know it. They made an inferior product to something that already came before it, and you just can't turn your brain off when you know you've seen superior storytelling to that, as with the same character in the same era, while he's on exile in exile on Tatooine. You know. So it's very hard to turn off your brain. And I really dislike when someone goes at you and says, just like it, just enjoy it. Be happy you're even getting Star Wars. No, there's a demand for quality. I'm not happy for just getting Star Wars. There has to be some standards. And after years of Disney and everything, what I've realized is fans don't have standards for Star Wars at all, despite the amazing and the great stuff that came in the good old days. And like even recently, the Clone Wars season 7, the last 4 episodes were bloody amazing, to be honest. Bad Batch did a very good job with a few things. Jedi Fallen Order was not something to throw away either. Rogue One's a gem in comparison to the live action Disney stuff. You know, not everything is bad, and especially not the stuff before it, like the Old Republic, KOTOR, everything. The Star Wars fans don't have any standards for quality. I'm not, waving my hand like stupid Star Wars fans, but seriously, for some reason, both the writers and the fans are some fans. I don't want to generalize. They're pretending that this is a standalone series and that it's not supposed to fit into the wider galaxy, because it is supposed to fit into the wider galaxy. You can't just dismiss everything else, even though it's based in that galaxy, and just take it for what it is, because it depends on the wider galaxy, on all the other stories that you already know. Its story depends on that, and it's supposed to fit into that window, but it doesn't. It breaks the window. It breaks the other stories. It makes continuity errors. But no, we're just toxic fans and just dismiss our arguments and everything. It's always the same bullshit when it comes. Ever since Disney took over, it's always the same bullshit. You're always toxic or evil or racist or racist or whatever. It's, and that's why they told the actress Moses Ingram that she's going to be attacked in advance before she even got attacked for anything. So I'm kind of doubting that might be genuine. I'm guessing you always have some asshole who's going to go after the actress. But,
just like they did with Jar Jar actor.
Oh, yeah.
And little Anakin.
Yeah. I don't get it. I think Disney did that specifically because they knew that they would have no argument against bad storytelling or something like that. And they would just dismiss the fans as toxic and racist. And it's enough for them. Fuck you, toxic and racist fans. Your opinion doesn't matter. That's it. The arguments for the Kenobi series are completely dismissed. That was the plan, I'm guessing. Because I don't trust them. After so many things that they've done, I don't really trust Disney and anything they say. And even I've seen the so-called tweets or messages that they sent Moses Ingram. Sorry. The thing is, someone called her the N-word without the R. And I'm guessing if someone was actually racist, they would go full on and use the N-word with the R, but they didn't. It's things like that don't make sense. Because if you actually think she's inferior, you'd go all way if you actually believe that. So I don't really buy that stuff that much because it's very easy to, create fake evidence for it. And even the Kelly Marie Tran, I remember that stuff. After so many years, I still haven't seen a single screenshot of anything regarding harassing her. Of course, the asshole who's harassing her for her role shouldn't be doing it, obviously. Duh, She's just the actor doing what Ryan Johnson wanted. He's an ass, I gotta admit that. But yeah, I haven't seen any evidence, and I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Because people know better, for the most part, to criticize the character, not the actor. As if we haven't learned that with the prequels. Yes, actually, Matt, we're all toxic. That's the definitions. We're all toxic. You either love the Kenobi series or you're toxic.
I thought you knew that, man. I thought you knew this was the toxic cantina.
Actually, check your email, Matt, for a second. Yep. Check your email. We gotta have you on for this, definitely, if you're up for it.
Oh, this is also a pretty interesting comment.
Give me a sec. Okay. Yeah. Here we are. Let's see. The thing is, if I remember correctly, in The New Hope, Vader knows that Obi-Wan is alive. Obviously, he says, or did he say our long-awaited meeting or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Or am I mixing it up with Ahsoka? I'm not sure. He said something like that, so he knows Obi-Wan is alive. But
he says, "I feel a presence I haven't felt since
Mustafar." But no, it's actually from what's the planet's name?
Well,
Or
actually,
does it even matter?
no. You're gonna have another duel, and it's gonna be epic, and you're gonna be.
It's gonna be the rematch of the century.
Yeah, so we don't really know where the duel is gonna take place, if there is another duel.
Do you guys want to know what a rematch of the century is? Do you know what? Do you know the fan film SC-38, where they remade the duel in A New Hope? That's the rematch of the century. That's how you do it. They didn't make a continuity error. They made it bloody epic. Because we all understand that in The New Hope, they didn't have the technology to make it, Yeah, I gotta love that. We actually were called, what was that, like few years back? Because if you don't agree with the narrative, you're the fascist Cantina. And that was a good one as well. Yeah, the SC-38 was absolutely phenomenal fan film. That is the rematch of the century. And as we've said before, the fans do it better than Disney without even close to big of a budget as Disney. Every time fans do a fan film, it turns, not every time, but most of the time, it's much better content. You can see the love in it, and you can see respecting the lore and everything in full. Honestly, if you guys want good Star Wars content, watch fan-made projects. That's what I would suggest. Hopefully ours in the near future when we bring some comic book stuff to the big screen. Well,
as we did with the Boba Fett. As we did with the Boba Fett one.
Yeah, the Boba Fett escaping the Sarlacc. Next one's Obi-Wan versus the Sharid. We have a Maul comic book fan film in the works as well. I'm not gonna say which one that's based on. Definitely. So yeah, definitely. Did you guys see the X-Wing fan film that came out a few weeks ago?
That was spicy.
That's probably the best galactic. Well, next to the Battle of Scarif, I gotta admit I loved Rogue One, especially the Battle of Scarif. Next to the Battle of Scarif, I think that's one of the best Galactic Civil War looking battles that we've ever seen. The scale of it specifically. Don't get me wrong. Battle of Endor is phenomenal. Battle of Endor is one of my favorites of all time. But the one they did with the Galactic Civil War on Coruscant, that was like episode 3 level of of a massive battle. And you have the Lusankia Superstar Destroyer coming out of Coruscant, destroying the Senate building, everything. It was bloody amazing. Oh, yeah. Well, let's be honest. Who gives a shit what Dark Snovia thinks? Yeah. This one's also very good, especially if you know the history of our country, which was the complete opposite of what they called us. And our great grandparents actually fought the you know who. So yeah, the irony it's unbelievable.
And I don't even want to say what they did to my family. So
Yeah.
no. Let's not go into
that was
that.
bloody horrible. Yeah, I know about it. But yeah, we're the fascist cantina. As if that actually means anything from people who don't even know us, like Dark Snovia. But let's be fair, Dark Snovia calls everyone that, so he shouldn't be taken seriously. Because if everyone is that, then no one is. He obviously doesn't know the meaning of it. But yeah, that's how it goes. Let's go through the comments a bit more. The thing is, I can't remember what else happened in the series. Like, it's I very much can't remember. Let's see. Do you guys have any opinions on on Asharid as a character and his role later as Darth Crady? Do you want to start off first, Todd, or do you want me to go into it?
Huh. Well, how do you want to start that?
Okay, I'll go with it. The thing is, I absolutely love the Legacy comics. I read them all, to my shame, actually, a year ago for the first time. Downloaded it all on my phone, and every time before sleep, I'd read the Legacy comics.
What a bedtime story, huh?
What a story, Mark. What a story, Mark. Yeah, the thing is, the Legacy comics, it always seemed very weird to me, like going into a completely new era. Not very high expectations, but I absolutely loved it. As you guys know, our headcanon still stands, but from a story perspective, if the timeline continued after the Return of the Jedi 100 years later, Legacy did an absolutely phenomenal job. And one thing that's very unique in my opinion with Crate is at first when you look at it, it always seemed as if they very randomly chose a Jedi, a Tusken Raider Jedi, and decided that he was going to be the next Emperor level threat in a completely new era. He's going to live for 200 years, 150 years, whatever. You know what I mean? And make a major threat from him on the level of Vitiate, Valkorian, Sidious, Even though we don't consider it canon, it's phenomenally done, And I'd actually love to do that. We made some scenes, as you probably saw on our community tab and our Patreon, of the first video appearance of Darth Crate ever. So we're very excited to be using these characters and actually bringing it to the screen instead of always being an image, a still image, or from a comic or something.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be two versions of our Obi-Wan versus the Tusken Raider Warlord Jedi. Two versions of the fan film we're making. One with just the 9 pages from the comic, specifically based 17 years before the Battle of Yavin on Tatooine. That's going to be the first and original version. The second version, we're going to add the intro to that fan film and the outro of Darth Crate's talk with Cade Skywalker, because we want to make a extremely and a very unique voice for Darth Crate. Not just make it a generic villain with a deep voice. It's not something that we want to do. It's something fan films usually do. Our idea of his voice is, well, we haven't decided the what dialect, not dialect, the what do you call it? Accent. What accent he's going to use in English? and how deep his voice is going to be as Darth Krayt in comparison to being a Asherad, sorry.
I think the depth doesn't really matter that much, as does the effects that will follow the voice.
Yes, the effects that are going to follow it is the main idea of it. Do you guys know the crusty sounds of the fish people, as they call them, from Pirates of the Caribbean? You know the corals when they're like whatever, when they're moving, or when the crustaceans and the corals and the, what do you call them?
It's like just
barnacles. The sounds that they make in Pirates of the Caribbean.
That and creaking of the wood as well.
Kind of. We want to add that sound effect to the voice of Darth Krayt when he's talking, to give the impression that he has the Yuuzhan Vong coral thing growing on him, and it wasn't devouring him in a way. It was killing him, technically.
Yeah, it was killing him, but also at the same time being his armor, right?
Yeah. So we want to make the second version of the fan film with that, because we want to make it unique. We want to make a, when they're creating a villain, they have to always get a good voice, like they did with Thrawn, to be honest, in Rebels. The voice was really great. So we want to make it unique for Krayt as well. And one thing that really excites me personally about doing these post-Return of the Jedi stories, even though I don't consider them canon, it's technically secondary headcanon, I'd say, is to bring these stories to the screen for the first time ever, because it's only seen on the pages of the comic book. And usually people evade doing these stories. It's always the standard Galactic Civil War or Clone Wars fan film. And I wanted to bring these stories that we also love, despite the headcanon. We love them as well. It's going to be very unique. So there's going to be 2 versions of that.
Hey, let's go cheer.
Toxic Matt.
Howdy. Yeah, I just want to say, anyone who doesn't like this version of theirs, you're all toxic if you don't like their version of Legacy, what they're doing right now.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but right as you said the invite, my little girl found out you were talking about Kenobi. And so she crapped her diaper, which is usually what you do when you hear about something, an awful show like that. So I had to change a diaper. Hey, it could have been worse. I could have been having to watch Kenobi. So hello.
I'm guessing you heard about the what we were talking about regarding Kenobi. It was a
yeah. I obviously not watching the show. Obviously, if someone likes it, that's fine. But at the same time, oh man. Yeah, my daughter is biased. She's I just
she's based.
Based. Oh, okay, yeah, based. Sorry.
Yeah,
true. But no, at this point, what I can't imagine. I'm sure you talked about this. But I still don't understand why they can attack fans. Lucasfilm continues to where up here does that make sense to attack your fan base? You should be trying to build this up, your old song and dance. Hopefully they'll like it. But if immediately go, okay, if you don't like it, and that's how you have this mindset. It's funny that they call us the toxic fans. They stir up the toxicity. They already set the precedent to say, okay, fans who love us, anyone who doesn't love this new thing we made, you must hate them like we do. And therein lies the actual toxic behavior of fandom. It's truly on the other side.
Yeah, I agree, honestly. Especially because they let the actress know in advance that she was going to be harassed.
Yeah, it's like, well, then don't even cast her then. How about that? How about just save her the trouble and don't even cast her?
Today I saw a comment calling us racist, for example, and I'm like, was I racist for Samuel L. Jackson or Billy D. Williams or any character ever?
No.
Like,
of course not.
Why?
And the thing is, like, when it comes to like actors, dude, if you don't want to do the job, someone else will do it.
Yeah. You know what I've also noticed? They always pick someone who has nothing to do with Star Wars, who never
who never even watched it, dude. And not just the actors, but the directors as well.
I think it was the writer who didn't know that Kenobi knew that Anakin is Vader.
Like, how can you write a fucking show if you didn't even watch the stuff that came
Imagine
before it?
that. He didn't know that Anakin was Vader. He had to check it with Pablo Hidalgo. It's beyond me, honestly.
It's pathetic. That's what it is.
Yeah. It's crazy because who was the director of Han Solo?
Ron Howard.
Ron Howard. Ron Howard had the best attitude toward the fans I've ever seen. Han Solo comes out, people hate it. They ask the director what he thinks. You know what he says? He says this. He says, well, he said, I felt like we made a great movie. I'm sorry they didn't like it, but I felt we made a good movie. That's all you have to say. You don't have to turn around and blame the fan. Well, they don't like it because of this, this, and this, because that's why they don't like it. No, he just said, well, I'm sorry they don't like it. I felt I made a good film. No director says, or no director underneath there says that. That's not the mentality of Lucasfilm. It's like, oh, if you don't like it, then you must be the one with the problem.
Yeah.
And that's such an insane mentality to think that way, that you are so perfect that it can never be you. It must be someone else. You are doomed to fail from that day forward if that thinking is in your head, that you can never do any wrong.
You know why that is, I think? It's because, generally speaking, the Hollywood ideology is egotistical beyond words.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, specifically.
Indeed it is.
And when you look at it, Ron Howard is one of the OG directors. He's old school still.
That's true.
And the old guard, as they would say. And all of these new people, I mean, I don't want to generalize. It's probably not all of them, but the ones who are asked anything, they're all full of themselves.
But they're all that's going to lead to a horrible, I wouldn't say renaissance, but a horrible epidemic of just one bad film after the next, one bad story after the next, one poor execution after the next. If you cannot step up and say, yeah, we messed up here. Like, I never saw Sonic the Hedgehog, but I know they did that when they did the trailer and everyone hated how he looked. They said, hey, you know what? We're sorry. We'll go back to that was expensive to replace a whole CGI character again. But they did it, and fans supposedly enjoyed it. Again, I'm not a Sonic the Hedgehog fan, but that's how you deal with fans. Are they toxic? No, they're just voicing their opinion. And their opinion, even though you may not agree, like Ron Howard didn't agree with people's opinion of Han Solo. However, he's not going to sit there and yell at them until he's blue in the face. And you're right, he is from that old school mentality. That's true.
And the thing is, Temuera Morrison, for example, they called him Boba Fett, as in fat, when he appeared in The Mandalorian. Even though the scene was, I gotta admit, it was badass Boba, he really did seem fat. You know what he did with that? He actually addressed it at Star Wars Celebration. He joked about being fat and how he's going to go to the gym, and kick ass and everything. And he did that. He addressed the criticism and did better. And they did him dirty with the Book of Boba, but he did better. And I absolutely respect Temuera.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and
that's
how you do it. Legend.
Todd, I forgot to mention, Amber Heard's looking for a boyfriend if you're in the market.
Amber Turd.
I like to keep my bed sheets clean. No, thank you.
How much does the Tooth Fairy give you when you actually crap the bed? How much does she give you for that? I don't know. I mean, it's just why else would you want to do it? It's my wife did not get over the memes after that came out.
The thing is, if you film it, you can probably make a living off it on the dark web.
Well, they took a picture of it, and that's where I would be like, if it was me, when I see that there's a picture going out, to everyone, I'd be like, you know what, we're just dropping the lawsuit right here and there. Let's just drop this. Let's walk away now. That was when the chips failed. You can't come back from that. But oh well. But anyway, guys, single men out there, if you have millions of dollars, you also can have Amber Heard.
And if you've got clean bed sheets.
And well, you got to have multiple bed sheets.
Yeah, and a good
Tell
washer.
you what, I'll gift you your first set of bed sheets. Don't send me the return.
Is it true that she still has the job at Warner Bros. For Aquaman?
Well, I mean, if she does or she doesn't, she was terrible in the first one. She's going to be hated in the next one. And whether her role was cut to 10 minutes or it's a half an hour, the thing is that their chemistry was bad. She's really pointless in the movie. If they give her more to do, I don't know. I doubt it. But I get the feeling that a lot of people in Hollywood did not like her, who's worked with her in the past. So she's just not that likable a character. And who knows? I mean, if I was a movie studio, I'd stay away from her. Why would you stay away from Johnny Depp? He has millions of people outpouring support for him. This is the time to throw him into a movie right now. And I mean, just to capitalize, not really to show your support behind Johnny Depp, but just to capitalize on a fantastic win for him. He's if you're thinking about it from a marketing standpoint, right?
Yeah, definitely.
You're thinking that dude's bankable right now. Loser, not so bankable. Cool off on her. Let's throw a movie at him. Even if you don't like him, I think they should do that.
Yeah, definitely from a business perspective makes sense. But if anything, the last 5 to 10 years showed that the main perspective is the woke perspective and the believe all women story and stuff like that. So it seems like they kind of don't give a shit about money, yet they do, but they care about the agenda more, I guess.
Well, if China says they don't want Amber Heard in Aquaman 2, she's gone. She's gone. We got to wait and see what China says.
To be honest with you, regarding this Buzz Lightyear movie or whatever, like I dislike their double standards. Hollywood's generally, I hate double standards in general. But I would rather take the Chinese and the Saudi Arabia version, honestly, because I'm sick of propaganda in movies. I just want to watch a movie for entertainment. So give me the Singapore cut of it instead of the woke Hollywood version, and that's it. I'd be fine with it, honestly. Although I dislike the double standards because it's hypocrisy at its finest.
Yeah, I love Toy Story. 1, 2, and 3 are great movies. The fourth one was real bad, but Tim Allen is Tim Allen is Buzz Lightyear. They took him out.
He doesn't cast anymore because he's the pesky conservative or whatever.
The thing is, that's the same deal with Pirates of the Caribbean. Johnny Depp will always be Captain Jack Sparrow, and no one else can replace him.
I've had this since 1999. This guy. See how the plastic yellowed?
Wow.
I take care of my things quite well, but whoops.
Except for now. There it is.
Yeah, but it yellowed a bit. But my precious Buzz, when I was a kid.
Oh man, I love those movies, and I was an adult back then, so I thought they were great.
The first one is beautiful in every way. Honestly, it was beautiful.
It's great. Well, I liked all three. I thought all three were good, but the first one is probably the best. But you know what that's based off of, right?
What specifically?
An 80s Jim Henson movie called The Christmas Toy.
Mm-hmm.
Pixar, I'm positive because almost beat for beat, it's that movie. This one was done with Muppets, of course, but it's about a little girl's favorite toy is this stuffed animal, and he wants to be the Christmas toy for this Christmas. Well, what is the Christmas toy? It's a space queen, and she does not know she's a toy. I mean, it is the premise for Toy Story. The other toys are there too. There's a Barbie doll who's always changing clothes to go on different missions, but by the time she figures out what she wants to wear, the mission has changed. She has to change again. If you catch a toy out of its, where it's supposed to be, if it moves out from one, if it gets caught walking around, it loses its life. And the main stuffed animal toy has a sidekick, just like he had the horse. Woody had the horse. he has a pet toy. It's a little mouse, pet mouse toy for their real family's pet cat. And it's not as good as Toy Story, but it is the premise of Toy Story. Christmas toy, Jim Henson's Christmas toy.
Oh, now that you mentioned that, you know what comes to mind? There's this channel called Meat Canyon. Check it out. He did a parody of Toy Story, and Andy starts smashing toys. Like, I've seen you move. He starts killing them, and the animation is sick. They look disgusting, disfigured on purpose, because it's supposed to be uneasy and retarded or whatever. And the thing is, Woody's like, "Hi, Andy, you have cancer." Like, you have cancer because when we reveal ourselves, you get cancer. It's like looking at an angel or something like that. And then Woody starts dying or whatever. It's sick. It's absolutely sick.
So weird. So weird.
Oh.
I'm going to bring a guest star in. I hear one of my little babies waking up. Hold on, let me bring her on. I think it's the girl. I'll be right back.
We'll go right on ahead.
Todd, are you going to show us your Woody?
Sadly, I never got Woody, to be honest. But yeah, Meat Canyon. When Buzz Lightyear says, "There's no coming back from infinity, Andy," that was so sick in that deep voice. But yeah. Nah, sadly, Lightyear, I'm not going to be watching Lightyear. I would love to. I've always loved Toy Story, but they replaced Tim Allen with Chris Evans, and no one can replace Tim Allen with that voice. It's so iconic. To infinity and beyond.
It's my little boy. It's Mr. Forrest. Say, what's going on?
You know what they say. Hello there.
He says hello. Say hello.
How old is she?
3 months. Well, almost next week will be 4 months. So yeah.
Now you have 4 of them, huh?
Have 4 now. 2 sets.
Was it double twins, right?
The double.
How rare is that?
I'm telling. Well, they said after the first time you're more likely to have stuff like that. Like her sister had 2 kids and then triplets. And so we had twins, and my wife goes, "Wouldn't it be funny if we had twins again?" And that's not going to happen. And we did, and the doctor wasn't surprised. I went, "Well, it's more likely to happen when you have that first set." And my wife was a twin too, so it kind of runs in the family. And they don't look the same; they're not identical twins. But yeah. But he's a happy little dude. He laughs a lot. Usually when I tell him about the new canon, but no, he's a happy little man, and so he's been he just woke up.
So you're making your own clone army, huh?
Yeah.
There's a million more well on the way.
No more. Too old. Huh?
That would be such a good meme, with a million more well on the way.
With a million more well on the way. Yeah. No, he's and here's the thing. People ask me this all the time. I have.
You know, we could actually make a meme about you saying they'll do their job well. I'll guarantee that.
This is how you grow. This is how you grow a fan base right here, folks. Right here, the homegrown way of growing a fan base. Magnificent Tate. Yeah. No, my little girls watch the little Ewok movies, the TV Ewok movies, and they loved them. So
really,
there's hope. There's hope. People ask me all the time, though, what if your kids don't like Star Wars? It's okay.
I think they will.
It's okay if they don't. I think they will because Dad likes it. Usually you like the stuff your parents love. You listen to the same music your parents listen to. There's a reason that I know all the Barry Manilow songs, because my mom was a big Barry Manilow fan. My dad a big James Taylor fan. So you pass that down to your kids. And I know a lot of people right here on YouTube who are second generation EU fans, meaning their parents read the books. And they read the books from their parents' bookshelf and they became fans. It's so wild how that, and I think that's so cool too. That happened a lot.
The sacred text.
But yeah. It's like the never-ending story. It's just in there.
What was the first one you ever read? Like, what was the thing that actually got you into Star Wars? I know it was the EU specifically.
It's the Timothy Zahn books. It was the Timothy Zahn books. Someone bought me the very first one when it came out for my birthday when I was 13. And I remember thinking, I don't want to read a book about this. And I shelved it. Well, it rained one day and we couldn't go outside and play. And this is back before the internet.
Of course.
I mean, there may have been dial-up back then. I can't remember, but it was early days of internet. So you didn't hang on the internet. So I was like, what's there to do? So I just took down the book and started reading it just because I was bored and I love reading. And I sat there and read the whole thing in like 2 days. I mean, I'd sit in a chair, lay down. When I started getting uncomfortable in the chair, I'd lay down on the floor and read. When I started getting uncomfortable on the floor, I went back into the chair. I could not put it down. I thought it was so good. The first time I actually saw expanded universe stuff, I believe, was Han Solo's Revenge when I was a kid. I remember one of my friends, her older brother, was reading it, and I was like, whoa, a Han Solo book. And I went, is this what takes place after Star Wars, meaning the trilogy? Mm-hmm. And he goes, no, this takes place before the movies. And I remember saying to him, who cares about what happened before the movies? Because I was ready to read it. And then he showed me a Marvel comic book. The old Marvel comic book series was going on back in the 80s. He went, this is what takes place afterwards. And I said, I want to read that. But then it was in the middle of a storyline. He goes, yeah, I don't have all the issues. And back then, comic book shops weren't a thing unless you lived in a big city. I don't even know if comic book shops were that big of a thing back then. You went to bookstores, you went to drugstores to get your comic books. So you couldn't really find back issues of stuff. And so the hopes of me finding those issues, I was like, oh, well. And then I just went on because I thought I'll never read that stuff. And just like everyone else during the dark times, you know, Star Wars kind of left everyone's brain at the end of the 80s and early 90s. No one really cared. Timothy Zahn's books came around and just reignited the fandom again.
Yeah.
Just some pretty good stuff indeed.
Yeah, but I've come to appreciate a lot what West End Games was doing during that time because they were the only ones exploring the galaxy back then with their material and stuff. And you know, looking back over, it's brilliant. Some of the stuff that they thought the creative process that went into it, the collaboration, because George was happy someone still cared about Star Wars. In fact, George had Lucasfilm send them a package of galaxy guides. Every writer got a package of galaxy guides from West End Games if they needed any, you know, insight into the universe that they were writing about. So he was such a big fan of that. And again, some people have been commenting on my first video I did about Disney buying Lucasfilm because I think I posted a video that evening on my YouTube channel when I had all but 8 subscribers. And I was like, yeah, I was like, wow, that was so, I was thinking, how could that happen? And I said, well, the expanded universe is gone now because I knew George was the only one letting that thing live. It's okay. It's okay. I know we were talking about Kenobi earlier, but we're not now. Yeah. You want to say something? You got something to say? You got to use your words there, dude. But anyway, and I knew they were going to get rid of it. And I knew I had a very, like the movies say, I had a bad feeling about this. I just knew it wasn't going to be good. So
same here. We remember when they bought a friend of ours that worked in the game store. He's like, the best thing would be that they don't touch it.
You knew they wanted to. And the thing is, it would have been the simplest thing to just keep it all because I may have to get him a bottle in a minute.
Yeah, no problem.
It would have been the simplest thing to let him just kind of skip over because the books were at the same age as the actors, and so you just move on. You say you just refer to Chewbacca as deceased. If you want to know how, read the books. You know, It was
Yeah.
easy to kind of fit all that stuff in if they wanted to. They just wanted to tell their own version. And it's like a spoiled kid who's like, well, you shouldn't like Daddy's version, George's version. You should like our version instead. There's this vehemence to not have any new legend stories ever come out by Lucasfilm. And it's really weird. Why can't we have other stories? Why can't we have, you do alternate stories all the time, that Ronin Jedi thing, you know, they made sure to tell people it wasn't legend. It was just non-canon. Well, what's the difference? Which tells me that Legends has been redefined in its own canon, because Lucasfilm to me has always defined what canon is. And when, I can't remember who it was, Matt Martin probably, because he's the only one who talks to fans. But when he said, no, Legends is its, you know, it's not Legends. I was like, oh, that means Legends is its own canon. And it's fine, but why can't we create more stories in that canon? Why can't people enjoy that kind of stuff? I just don't understand. They don't want to tell stories in that because they're jealous of it, because that's where they're getting their inspiration for all their movies, for all their stories. I mean, I just saw someone do a review of just TV shows he's been watching. And when he talked about Kenobi, he said, I just sat there and thought, I wonder how much of this came from the books and comic books from back in the day. He didn't even know about the expanded universe that much, but he knows where they're getting their, you know, a lot of their storylines.
Sadly, they didn't get much.
Yeah. One moment, I'm gonna grab a bottle for him, and I'll be right back.
Yeah. No problem.
Sure thing, buddy. Take your time.
Yeah, but sadly,
you know, this would be a perfect time for me to grab a beer. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Go ahead. My sister's been calling me. I don't know what she wants. Just give me a sec. Yeah. What he said regarding that, it doesn't seem like they actually followed anything from the books. Sure, Kenobi does go off-world during his exile, but that happens in 18 BBY, meaning 1 year after Revenge of the Sith, specifically because Qui-Gon Jinn tells him that the only way that he's going to learn in the ways of the wills to become one with the Force, learn to preserve his spirit after death and stuff like that, was if he would go and help the Jedi Purge survivor and Padawan Ferris Olin. So while Jin watches over Kenobi, that was the premise of why he left Tatooine. So it makes much more sense and actually has meaning and depth in it. But yeah, Disney didn't really care about that at all. They just had him go off Tatooine because. And you see, the main problem, in my opinion, I know these guys are not here, so I'm talking to you, the viewers, is the writers of this series are pretending that the characters know where the story is leading, yet the character of Kenobi doesn't know what's going to happen in A New Hope, or shouldn't know. And same with Reva. Reva shouldn't know that having Leia kidnapped would for some reason bring out specifically Obi-Wan Kenobi. It doesn't make sense. It's like a MacGuffin without the MacGuffin. It's just, the information just exists and she knows it for the sake of the plot, you know. And otherwise, even in the Ahsoka novel, which I did read, it's specified that Bail Organa is in close connection to Ahsoka, as aka Fulcrum or whatever. And that means that Bail Organa would most likely call Ahsoka to help him find Leia, instead of risking Luke on Tatooine by calling Obi-Wan and leaving him. So yeah, but the thing is, no, we're just toxic. That's the thing. But yeah, it doesn't make sense regarding the lore. Disney just doesn't care. Completely agree. They really don't give a shit anymore. But yeah, we're toxic. Not an argument. They don't have an argument for that. We're just toxic. So they chose to, hello there.
Well, hello there. Perfect timing.
But wait.
All this talk about Kenobi is upsetting my children. Thank you.
You know the thing. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
No. I'm sorry. I was listening to the conversation as I had to give him a change too. And
yeah, so Leia's kidnapped as a kid.
I wanted to ask. Yeah, so a buddy of mine was telling me a little bit about it, and again, I've never seen this show, but so Leia gets kidnapped, but she's able to run away from them like full-grown adults. Like she's faster than them or something?
She runs away from like 3 of them, and the way she manages it is because they're running slowly on purpose. It's very visible, and they hit a branch in the tree and fall down, which is
like
visible.
a cartoon? Did Dave Filoni write it? That's what I wanted.
It seems to be, honestly, it seems that he had nothing to do with this whole thing. I'm not sure. I didn't see his name anywhere.
So I heard that Darth Vader and Obi-Wan meet. So I guess this time he was still the learner, because in New Hope he said, last time we met, I was but a learner. Now I am the master. So I guess he's still a learner who wipes the floor with Kenobi.
Yeah, he wipes the floor with Kenobi, and then while he's torturing him and burning him on the fire, despite already turning off the fire with the Force, he lets Kenobi run away, even though he could have just captured him. And not to mention that the duel is, the biggest problem with the series. First of all, it doesn't need to exist. It still didn't give a reason why it needed to be told, because the story is very mediocre at best, meaningless, has no depth in it, and has no meaning. That's the problem. There is no meaning to it. There's nothing deep about it. And I compare it to the story with Ferris Solon when he left Tatooine. You heard me talk about it, and which has meaning, which has something to do with him learning in the ways of the Wills while Qui-Gon watches over Kenobi. It's about getting his mindset right to become one with the Force eventually, regarding Qui-Gon. But you know that already. You're an EU fan, and it has meaning. Well, this is just they marketed as the duel of the century, while it's obviously done only for money, because it has nothing to offer to the story that has any meaning, without making a huge continuity error with him meeting Vader. It's just bad.
Yeah, that's what I gathered. Sorry, I got a cranky kid here.
That's okay.
I don't know why. Well, I do know why, because we're talking about this. But anyway, I may, if he didn't calm down, I may have to sign off right now.
It's okay.
But I'd heard about that, and oh, come on, little man. Come on, little man. No, he doesn't like me talking about new canon. I'm sorry, guys. If I can get him calmed down, I'll come back, Luke. But if not, Luke, Todd, always fun talking to you guys.
Yep,
definitely, man. It's a pleasure having you here every time.
As always.
Thanks.
See you, Matt. Get those clones ready.
Yeah.
with a million more well on the way.
What a guy.
That's just such an awesome, would be such an awesome meme. I love it.
But then again, he would have to make some more.
Why did they leave Tatooine in the first place? Book of Boba is the show that they should have left Tatooine for. Honestly, I have no arguments anymore. I just
wanted to be the daimyo of Tatooine.
I've actually thought about this not long ago when we were making our Boba Fett fan film, that they really kind of screwed Boba when they made Din Djarin, whatever. I really don't like that character. To me, he's very bland and a copy of what Boba was. Imagine if The Mandalorian was actually a show about Boba Fett, and Boba Fett doing his badass bounty hunter stuff the same way Din Djarin does, but better, of course. It would have been so simple, They could have made Boba be the Mandalorian, technically, if you know what I mean, doing badass stuff. This way, they completely sidetracked Boba Fett into nothing. I mean, he's not nothing, but I feel like he was replaced for no reason at all, because Din Djarin's just I don't see much depth or meaning with that character either. He just exists because TV show make money. Yeah.
Selling toys for the boys, huh?
Not even that. I've noticed that in the series, they waste a lot of time about him walking and looking and just having the T-visor on screen, because apparently that's what gets the fanboys the T-visor boner, apparently. And they could have easily done that with Boba, but with an actual character that people care about, you know.
And plus, let's be honest, Boba has a definitely better visor,
Better
and
visor, better armor,
better helmet,
more
just better
appealing.
looking. Yeah,
Fans love Boba, always did. You know, Temuera, he would have been the first choice for a series called The Mandalorian if they were to ask me something, but they don't. And I don't know, Mandalorian armor is just Din Djarin's armor is just bland in my opinion. It's silver, generic, very little creativity added to it.
you know, now that you mention it, I really preferred Din Djarin the first time I saw him in Episode 1 when he had like the mix of armor. You know,
Much better. The original design was much better
much
instead
better.
of just being silver for the sake of looking
Yeah.
shiny. Shiny, you see. But yeah, they kind of threw Boba under the bus for that character. Yet, I don't. He's just boring, not an interesting character at all, to be honest. But yeah, that's all I can say about him. There was something else, but I forgot, sadly. So yeah. Well, we've been going strong for an hour and a half, and it's almost 3 a.m. here. So I was thinking about, quitting for today, and yeah, that's about it, guys, I'd say. But before we finish this, as we said, thank you very much for the super chats here. But in the future, please, if you guys actually want to help us out and donate, patrons the way, you get something back for it. While over here, we lose 30% of everything you give us, and you get nothing except our gratitude. While on Patreon, we actually can pay you back for it with extra content. So yeah, we're really putting in a lot of sweat for that, because it's probably going to be the future of our channel, and the only way we're going to be able to make anything in the future, because it's been really going badly, sadly. Yeah, the algorithm just doesn't like us, but shit happens. So yeah, that's about it, guys, and thank you for watching. What, have anything to say?
No, I think you covered just about everything.
Yeah, that's about it, and hope you guys enjoy our machinimas that are coming.
Indeed.
Yeah, see ya.
Well, let's go ahead and bring this over to an end. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one.